Salma went down to her father and said to him, "You embarrassed me with your actions. Why did you expel them like that? Do you know that these hands are wounded because of the gift he stayed up all night working on to give to your daughter? And do you know that his heart is kind and that he loves her from the depths of his heart?" Salma stayed up all night thinking about Ali and waiting for the dawn to see him and apologize for her father's behavior. But Ali did not come to the university. She got his number from his friend and called him, but he was out of reach. So she went to his shop and found it closed as well. Ali did not show up, and Salma's heart longed for him. She felt that something was missing in her life, but her friends told her, "Forget about him. Rami is better than him. What do you see in Ali?" Salma remained in this state every day until she began to forget Ali. On exam day, she saw Ali coming to take the exams. She went to him and said, "Where have you been? I've been looking for you for a long time." He asked her, "Why?" She replied, "I missed you." At that moment, Ali looked at Salma and wanted to tell her that he missed her too. But Rami came and said to her, "Are you still with this poor man?" Salma replied, "Why are you talking to him like that?" Rami said to her, "Let's go, leave him alone." Salma said, "I don't want to go." He grabbed her hand and tried to take her by force. At this point, Ali grabbed his hand and said, "Don't you dare touch her again." Rami grabbed Ali and tried to hit him, but Ali struck first, and they started fighting. Salma was crying and screaming until the university guards came and stopped them. But Ali's shirt was torn, and Salma saw the surgical scars, which were in the same place as her own surgery scars. At that moment, she started to suspect and remembered that Ali hadn't shown up during the time she was undergoing surgery. To confirm her suspicions, she called her friend who worked at the hospital and said, "I want you to find out who donated their kidney to me, and was it really a deceased person?" Her friend replied, "It's difficult, but I'll try." Salma returned home and told her mother that she loved Ali and wanted to be with him. Her mother sensed her feelings and understood her and said she would talk to her father. But her father refused and told her, "I won't accept someone like him. I want someone of your status. Choose either me or him." Even her friends always told her, "Stay away from Ali," and indeed she did stay away from him. Ali's mother passed away, and he was left alone. As for Salma, she travelled abroad, and they lost contact with each other. Salma's heart burned for Ali, and Ali also kept thinking about her. Ali decided to move to another state and start a new life, and he left everything behind. As for Salma, her friend who worked at the hospital called and told her that the person who donated their kidney to her was Ali. At that moment, the world darkened before Salma's eyes, and she realized that she had lost a love that could never be replaced. Salma returned from abroad and told her mother, and she searched for Ali everywhere but couldn't find him. Salma's life changed, and she could only think of him, rejecting all the suitors who came to ask for her hand. But her father wanted to marry her off by force to the rich son of his friend and forced her to agree to the engagement. Salma graduated from university, and her fiancé, Sufyan, was an arrogant, narrow-minded and drunken man. She always avoided him and cried to herself about the situation she had ended up in. Ali succeeded in university, graduated, and became an investigating judge. Ali was assigned a case file involving major drug dealers, with Saeed, Salma's father, being one of the key figures. Ali began the investigation, and with his intelligence, he was able to catch Salma's father red-handed. At the same time, the date for Salma and Sufyan's wedding was approaching. Ali ordered the arrest of Salma's father, and they brought him to his office. Saeed waited for the investigator, and when Ali entered the office, Saeed was shocked and stood still. The blood froze in his veins, and he said in amazement, "Ali? Is that you?" Ali replied, "Yes, Uncle Saeed, it's me. This is life. You rose with dirty money. You wronged me and my late mother, made her cry and always looked down on people, all of this with dirty money." Before the investigation began, Saeed said that Sufyani and his father were also involved in the case. Sufyani and his father were arrested a day before Sufyani and Salma's wedding. After what happened to her and her father, Salma locked herself in her room, became ill, and couldn't believe everything that had happened to her. She didn't know that Ali was the one who had investigated her father. When Ali heard about Salma's illness, he decided to visit her. He went to her house and her mother opened the door for him. Ali went to Salma and saw that the illness had taken hold of her, and she was in a pitiful state. He felt sorrow for his beloved as he saw the tears falling from her eyes. Ali approached her and said, "Salma, here we are meeting again after all these years." Salma heard the voice and thought she was imagining Ali because his voice had never left her mind, not for a single day. He placed his hand on her cheek and wiped away her tears. Salma turned and saw Ali. She smiled from her heart, hugged him, and began to cry and blame him. She said, "Why did you leave me?" He said, "Don't cry, my love. I've returned. I will never leave you again." He told her that her father would receive a reduced sentence because he cooperated with the police, but the state had confiscated all of her father's assets, including their house. He said she and her mother could stay with him if they wished. After some time, Ali proposed to Salma and said to her, "But we can't get married because we're siblings through the kidney." At this, Salma laughed, and everyone laughed, and they all lived happily ever after.